Welcome to Real Estate 360 with real estate expert Kenn Renner. It's always fun to sit down and visit with you. In fact, I met a friend of mine the other day for breakfast, and he goes, "Hey, man, I stumbled across a video on YouTube you were in with Kenn Renner." And I go, yeah, we've been doing that for a few years. And he goes, "There's just some great stuff in there." He's looking to buy a house. Yeah. And he goes, "I found myself kind of going down the rabbit hole with Kenn and you and watched a whole lot of episodes." So word is out there, and you've got great information every time that we visit, and I'm sure today is no exception to that.
Oh, thank you, Sandy. That's appreciative. That people do watch those videos, and they contact me later, and they, we're doing this podcast in an office, right? They're
right.
Going, "He's the guy on the radio." It's like, it's okay. I want them to know, but yeah, I try to, and I was just on the radio at a talk show last month with Mark Harrison, another loan officer.
Oh, cool.
And so that was.
I know Mark.
Yeah. Mark's been around forever, and we're the good old boys, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's enjoying this weather here. We're mid 80s. I mean, in the middle of July.
Shocking. Yeah, late July and temps in the 80s. It's been nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so it's funny because it's like I'm looking at the semi-annual checkup. You have to go to the doctor and get your blood. It's my least favorite thing to do is to go get my blood drawn. I'm just sorry, but it's also really important to have your semi-annual checkup on your properties, because it's really good to have that go in. What is going on with the micro market, the macro market? What's going on with my property? And so as the market's shifting and changing dramatically, as we talked about in the last podcast, that the inventory is rising, and I've got all the stats that we're going to go through. In fact, we're going to just dive into the stats.
Let's do it,
because it's going to have a real big impact over the next 6 months of what's going on in the real estate market here in Austin. So people need to be aware of it, and that's what we were talking about earlier before the show, was the education that you can get with these podcasts that we have. This is real boots on the ground, 41 years of experience, booms and busts in 4 different states and 4 different decades. That's what I bring to the table.
You got a stronger stomach than I do. The booms and the busts.
Well, the last recession really kind of took a bite out of all of us, and we always say that if you were a realtor, which is very few back in the last recession in 08, 09, that if you made it through, you're still dealing with PTSD.
I believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking at the overall market right now. The median sales price for the MSA, it's the 5-county areas, dropped to $450,000 at 6.3% drop from last year. And so that's a pretty big number, because we were holding steady pretty well. These are June numbers, because we're always a month behind on these. So I'm really excited. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in July. Close, and this is where I started watching these numbers going, this is an urgent call for those that if they need to sell, they need to be prepared, and also a great call for investors or buyers who want to take advantage of what's coming, the buyer's market that's coming. So here's basically, when we did our podcast last time, there were about 10,000 homes on the market in Austin. That was the May numbers. It was a little over 10,000. But I started noticing the numbers. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. There's 10,000 homes on the market, and there's 4,500 new listings, but there was only 2,700 closed sales. So take the 10,000, add the 4,000 new listings, then take out the sales. And that's exactly what happened. Now, a month later, we're at 13,227 active listings, and we only had 13,000 closed sales. So if we have another 4,000 homes hit the market, we're going to be surpassing 15,000 homes on the market in Austin, which is also the problem with that is that 60 or 70%, between 60 and 70% are vacant.
Okay, that for the person that's listening or watching right now, that number, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Again, I'm just thinking of the person that is watching, and they're like, okay, what does that mean?
Well, the good news is it puts the buyers in a better position.
Correct.
That's what we've been waiting for a decade to put our buyers in a better position, because the sellers have had the upper hand. Well, the buyers are going to have an upper hand. The negotiation's going to is going to continue. It's going to be a great time to be a buyer. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the buyer-seller mentality and the problem that runs into that. And also want to reintroduce my book, Home Buying Secrets.
Good book.
Yeah,
I read it.
Thanks. And I'm revising it because this was written in 2010 during the last buyer's market, during the last recession. And there's 168 secrets that are geared towards helping buyers put themselves in a better position to be able to capitalize on real estate. And so
knowledge is power.
Yeah, especially this was geared towards first-time home buyers when I wrote it, because that's kind of where I cut I cut my teeth on this, was helping first-time home buyers by doing home buying classes, home buying little seminars, and then taking them out and selling them a home, helping them through the financing, because I used to own a mortgage company, so I know all the financing things. So I turned it into a book, and then this became a best-selling book. So in fact, I have more real estate professionals buy this book than I do actual home buyers.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah, so it's nice. So as we enter into these the buyer's market, we have a bunch of headwinds hitting us. Too much supply in Austin, not so much in our submarkets. So the markets that we've been selling mostly in the last couple of years, because Austin was already too inflated, those other markets are holding steady, doing great. And I don't see a big drop in the Temple-Belton area. I don't see a drop there. Don't see the New Braunfels, San Antonio have a big drop because the prices are so low to begin with. But I do see Austin
in comparison
to Austin. We're going to kind of look at those numbers. The median price is $450. In Austin, the median price in San Antonio is like $260. So I mean, we're talking about almost a little more than half than you could get in San Antonio. We're only 50 miles apart from city limit to city limit. So yeah, taking a look at that, where the buyer seller psychology. Since I've been through these markets, what happens is people are watching too much news.
And you said years ago, once the news tells you it's too late.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. But the problem is the news that's coming out is misinformation news. It's taking small segments of the market. The one that's really hammering all of us in real estate is Newsweek. Please delete your Newsweek, on your phone, because it's just hammering real estate. Well, people, buyers all of a sudden like, well, I'm not going to buy because what if it continues to drop? I'm going to stay on the sidelines. Okay, and then. Oh, I heard interest rates are coming down, which is probably true. So I'm just going to wait until the interest rates come down. I mean, this is the buyer mentality. My rent's cheaper than it was buying. I'm just going to stay put or go rent again. Well, we've got all these homes hitting the market, and these buyers don't want a 7% interest rate right now, or they're holding off. They're worried that it could drop more, so why wouldn't I just wait for lower prices? So that's going to put more downward pressure on upward inventory. Supply and demand means that we're going to have lower prices. So we're up to 65 days on the market right now, and a 5-month inventory. We're almost to that, quote, equilibrium that they say, which is 6 months, but I don't believe it. We're already in a buyer's market, solid, pretty much across the nation, especially here in Austin. Now, it's also a really good time to consider because we're talking about doing your annual equity review. I go with my clients, I go over their property values and everything, what's happened. And then give them opportunities to say, well, maybe I should look at selling one of these properties. I already got the profit, and even though it's dropped a little bit, it's done really well, like 100% in the last 5 years. Maybe I should 1031 tax defer, exchange that into markets that are more favorable, better cash flow, better pricing, and maybe not even in Texas. So I serve the Central Texas region, but I'm well connected with the largest coaching organization, the Tom Ferry Coaching Organization for realtors. And connected with other investor specialists across the nation. So like right now, I've got a client that's looking both here in Texas and also looking at Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, I've got people in Raleigh, North Carolina that are vetted, that are investor specialists, because most realtors don't specialize in investors. It's a niche. You have to have a network. And I'm actually going to be teaching the Ferry organization, doing a webinar for the whole entire organization about how to build a portfolio of real estate, teaching other agents how to do it. So my new program is the Investor Savvy Agent, which is teaching other agents and networking with them, because the markets are different all over. In California, the political climate is so anti-property ownership. I mean, look at Elon. He just took one more thing, one more nail in the coffin was whatever political thing happened there, and so he's moving his X and SpaceX to Texas. Yeah. So those that are owning multifamilies in California, they're going to get hammered because there's rent control. So they can't. The government's going to say you can't raise your rent. There is terrible laws about trying to get somebody out of the property, and really, I mean, they can pretty much stay in a property for a year without paying, and then it's all up to the owner to pay for all the legal fees to get them out, and it's still not a guarantee. So,
don't try that in Texas.
no, we got guns here.
Yeah, and we know how to use them.
Yeah, we know how to use them. Yeah. But really in Texas, we're a landlord-friendly state, so you can. That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing so many people 1031 their properties that are really overinflated in the California area to areas where they can actually be able to get a tenant out if they stop paying their rent, which would be the normal thing to do. So we're looking at the buyer-seller psychology. Is that right now the news is catching attention. You've got an election coming up, so everybody's eyes is on that rather than buying their next house. And so you got to watch as we go into the fall season. You're going to see a lot of people pulling their homes off the market, and or trying to lease them. So in Austin proper, we're seeing a lot more inventory on renting, because if they can't sell sitting vacant, they're just going to put it on the rental market. And there's actually really good reasons to do that. Why sell in a buyer's market when you have this great interest rate on your current house? Why not just hold on to it for the next couple of years and see what happens?
Right.
Yeah. So things, especially if you're a property owner in California, it's maybe time to start thinking about 1031ing them, get that property, equity out of the area. And then where are you going to take it? Well, I've been doing this for 41 years. I'm well connected with investor agents all across the nation. I want you to come to me, and I'll connect you via a referral. I will personally be on the same call with you to connect with that agent in North Carolina and help be counsel through the whole thing, so I can help you make a really good recommendations. Investors really do well in down markets.
Yeah.
And so, like I'm saying right now to some of my investors about if they what do you think the time about to buy in Austin is? I said, just wait for it. And so once it hits the news, that the prices are dropping and this and that, then all of a sudden those that need to sell are going to have to sell, and they're going to have to cut their prices.
Right.
You're still going to really need to have an excellent buyer's agent. And of course, the NAR rules that are coming in place here in August have really disrupted the way real estate's done business. But it's been done the same way. Commissions were always negotiable. Buyer's agency agreements were required. It's just they're forcing that you can't even go. The two big ones for us is that sellers cannot put now sharing the commission in the MLS. But doesn't mean they can't contribute it towards a buyer's closing costs or buyer's agent's commission. We do that all the time. We roll closing costs in, and so that's how it's going to have to be done. Is we're going to have to negotiate our commissions as buyer's agents with the seller and even the buyer. But usually, just as it always has been, it's wrapped up in the sales price of the house, so it can be financed. The other big change is you will not be able to technically be able to go view properties until you've established a buyer's agency agreement relationship with the agent who's going to open the door. And so don't if you're talking to agents that say, I can't even show you the property until we have this agreement signed, it could be a 1 day, 1 pager, whatever, but technically they're not supposed to open the doors until you've actually hired them. So that hence is where you're going to have a really good interview with your buyer's agent. And that's when in my book is this putting buyers in the best position. The buyer's agent, a good buyer's agent that has years and years of experience, is going to really keep you out of trouble. It's also going to be the opportunities often is finding the properties is not difficult, right? People get on Zillow or whatever, or they get their Redfin, feed or whatever. That's not been the issue. It used to be that's what one of our big jobs. Now it's getting them negotiating the best deal, keeping them out of trouble. When trouble does come, how to navigate that. What about the mortgage? What about mortgage rates? Am I getting the right? So these are all things that us as buyers, brokers are going to have to prove our value to our buyers. And that's why I wrote the book. It's 168 secrets of how to put a buyer in the best position. And even if you go your own, you can have this. I'll give you this book. I'll give you a soft copy of the book. I'll just email it to you. Because if you want to DIY it, this will really help you. But what I'm going to say is, if you're going to DIY it, I'm going to say your best bet is to get a really experienced buyer's broker so that you can do it. And I think that's the word. That's where we're going to thrive is experienced. We were just talking about your experience with the internet marketing,
content marketing,
and so a lot of Unfortunately, realtors last year only sold in Austin, 50% of the realtors only sold 1 or 0 houses.
Wow.
So are you going to go with that person, or are you going to go with somebody who sells up to 100 houses a year that does this and used to own a mortgage company and all that kind of stuff? And the problem really lies in a lot of people haven't been through the tougher times. So both counseling with sellers, you have to let them know that you want to pay a buyer's agent because they're golden now. If they've got a buyer client, you're going to want to offer them compensation in the negotiations of the contract because if the buyer can't afford to pay their agent, they'll go buy another house and lose that opportunity. So that's one thing. Also, we're talking about we were looking at our affordability factor. So taking a look at the affordability across the nation, looking at this cool chart, it talks about the 50 U.S. cities and their how much it costs, how much salary do you need to buy a home, and you'd be certainly surprised here. So in Austin, $136,000 a year or $135,000 a year is what's required. So it's
to buy what, the medium?
To buy
average house.
Yeah, the median price
in Austin proper.
Yeah, in Austin, yes. So, but you go to San Antonio, it's $90,000 to buy a median. Yeah, so it's $45,000 less to buy the same house.
Yeah,
that they need to make every year. That's somebody's salary. Somebody
yeah,
you can have one salary and pay for it. But here's why people are looking this way. San Jose, let's talk about San Diego. I love San Diego, but I don't like their prices because you have to make $241,000 a year to buy a median price house in San Diego. You have to buy in San Jose, top of the list here. You have to make $483,000. Oh, okay, so almost $500,000 a year to buy a median price house in San Jose. And that median price house is going to be a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe 1,300 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I go out there. And also because a lot of our clients own investment properties or inherited it. And they're like, what do I do with it? I said, have you thought about, interstate investing? Let me teach you how to do that. Yeah. Also, the national averages on rent was interesting on the chart. And you can't read it on the one that's on the screen, but it was kind of neat to see. National average for mortgage payment is $2,400. So that's right in the median.
That's the national
average. So San Antonio, one of our submarkets, it's only $2,100 is to buy a medium price or a mortgage payment on a medium price house. We also, since we serve the Florida area, Jacksonville's at just under 2.4, just right about at the average. Austin, Texas, now is $3,200 is the average sales price or salary needed to make a mortgage payment. Los Angeles, you need to be making about $4,800 a month to afford the mortgage payment, average. And then good old San Francisco, you need to make average payment of $7,800 a month. $7,800.
San Francisco.
Yeah, yeah. So affordability is the idea here. It's people are going to be running to and rushing to affordability. They're going to look for areas with great areas with good jobs that are affordable, and that's the quote affordable. So that's why we're taking a lot of the people that bought in Austin several years ago that bought before 2020. Take that equity and you can even be right here in Texas, or we can go to our Florida markets or anywhere that we feel that the best values are going to be for the long haul, best return on the investment, and I can help you with all that. Investors do great in a down market.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's when all the money is made.
To deploy.
For home buyers do great in a down market. So we welcome the down market. The only problem is the shift between going from seller's market to buyer's market could be 6 months. It's already in that process, but it could.
Where in the process is it?
It's now, and it depends. Every market's different.
Yeah.
Right. So in the Bay Area, actually, they have a complete seller's market. There's just no inventory.
Yeah.
Austin's building up this inventory faster than what goes up comes down. The steeper the climb, the faster the drop.
Right.
But you will be able to see probably by the end of the year or beginning of next year pre-pandemic pricing.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't mean everything's going to go. And even in our own markets, they're like the luxury market's doing great. Like I told you, my in-laws had lived in their home for 25 years. We just sold their home just under $1 million in great Grandview Hills for $935,000, and they paid $330 for it back 25 years ago. Sold it in 3 days.
Yeah. Well,
cash.
Yeah.
So that's where we're focusing on, is being able to take advantage of what. Let's get your review the values of your properties that you have here. Is there a better place we could park that equity? These are long-term investments. Just hold on to it. You got a great interest rate now. If that's what you're into, just let's hold on to it. I've got all my properties are buy and hold. I might sell one just to buy 2 more, take some of that equity and double it down. And that's what we're seeing a lot of my clients now. They're kind of going, I don't see the market going up, so why would I keep the property and where I could put it somewhere else to give me really better cash flow, or they're going to be able to put it somewhere else where they're going to be able to see better appreciation. Right. So, but I'm welcome to give this home buying secrets book. You can email me, Kenn, Kenn, @buyaustin.com. And I'll be glad to send you a soft copy of it or a signed hard copy if you give me your address. I've gone through thousands of these books, and it's really helped a lot of investors and home buyers. And also getting dialed into my agent, investor savvy agent network, where I'll be able to talk to other markets. We'll have doing podcasts like this, and it's really going to be an exciting time as we roll into the next buyer's market.
All right. Kenn, always good seeing you.
Thank you, Stan.
Thanks for the info.
All right. Talk to you soon.